This is Casual Babble. Good morning, you beautiful individuals. Welcome back to the show. My name is BC Babbles, and you're enjoying Casual Babble, the Queen City's live-streamed morning show and podcast, coming to you from Race City, USA. Before we hop in, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell. That way you're notified about all future content on the channel if you're on YouTube enjoying the show. If you're enjoying the show on Podbean, go ahead and give us a follow. And wherever you're coming in from, hop into the chat and say hello. Let us know where you're coming in from. So, as we were attempting to do and be very consistent with, I have fallen off pretty badly, but we are going to make up for some lost time here. We're going to do 3 sets of our affirmations this morning because your boy has been falling off of it. I was doing so well last week. So let's get into the affirmations real quick. Again, 3 times because I got to make up for it. I got to hold myself accountable. And do not forget that you're allowed to hold me accountable as well. So here we go. 1, you are inventive. 2, your ideas are meaningful. 3, you are valuable. 4, you will not be left behind because you will pave the way. 5, you are worthy of love and success. 6, you are powerful. And 7, you are beautiful and your beauty will transform you. And round 2, here we go. You are inventive. Your ideas are meaningful. You are valuable. You will not be left behind because you will pave the way. You are worthy of love and success. You are powerful and you are beautiful and your beauty will transform you. Take it in. Take it in. First 2 sets of our 7 daily affirmations in the air right now. And let's round it out with our 3rd. Again, we're making up for lost time, especially since Wednesday there was no show. Your boy was pretty tired. I'll get to that in a second. So round 3 of affirmations. Here we go. It is 1, you are inventive. 2, your ideas are meaningful. 3, you are valuable. 4, you will not be left behind because you will pave the way. 5, you are worthy of love and success. 6, you are powerful. And 7, you are beautiful and your beauty will transform you. So, as I said before, we did miss a show on Wednesday, and your boy has fallen off kind of hard with your affirmations, and it's just because your boy's been tired. And now you might be thinking, BC, how are you tired? Are you not between jobs? Well, just in case you're not aware, that's emotionally tiring. It's very emotionally tiring. But we're here on Friday because I know you deserve the praise you need for making it to Friday. We talk about it all the time here on the show. Making it halfway through the week is not the easiest thing in the world. So making it all the way to the end of the week, that deserves some praise and some congratulations. So I need to make sure to provide that to you because, hell, again, we don't always make it to the end of the week. So the fact that you're here is really, really good. But otherwise, I hope your week has been going good. It's been kind of a fly-by week. We had Halloween on Monday, and of course, I don't think anyone's not seen the Mariah Carey video that came out on TikTok. I think Halloween night, where she was the witch, and then she's like, "It's time," and then she flipped into her Christmas gear because that song is still top of the charts every year, same time. So yeah, and then of course we've had, I think the kind of stirring news everyone's been kind of has been trying to keep an eye on is the whole Twitter thing. We spoke last time how a whole bunch of executives were released as soon as Elon Musk was up in there, and they were owed a collective of $1 billion in severance, so on and so forth, which is, damn, that's a lot. And I think people are just kind of waiting. And then there's the whole announcement about Elon wanting to make Twitter this subscription service for $8 a month. And I kind of saw this funny comment last night where it's like, can you imagine being Elon Musk and asking for $8? I really can't because you think You'd think that, why? But I saw this but I did see this article also yesterday when I was beginning to prepare for this morning show. And I thought this was pretty funny as well. So, and it was about the subscription service. Let's see here. All right. I'm pretty sure it was from this particular outlet. Come on now. Did I miss it? Usually I'm a lot more like, again, your boy's been a little tired. So we're going to ride this here, but we do have some pretty fun, once I find it, for sure. Let's see here. Okay, so this is going to be coming to you from the Morning Brew morning newsletter. It's a daily newsletter, not sponsored, but Morning Brew, let's talk about it. All right, so yesterday in Elon is the title of this little segment here. As he works out his business plan in public for all to see, Twitter's new owner and CEO pitched an $8 a month subscription that includes verification, half as many ads, priority in replies, and the ability to post longer videos. Meanwhile, one of the world's biggest advertising agencies recommended its clients pause campaigns on Twitter, and at least 5 top execs have ditched the company in the last few days. So, very rough takeover for Mr. Musk. It's just clearly not. I can't imagine at this point it's all that it's been. He imagined it would be, just because it's been. It seems to be a little bit rough for him. Not that I'm like on his side per se, but it's like, dude, come on. Like, how easy did you think this was going to be? Hopping into this world and just being like, come on, let's just kick everybody out and like cut the fat. This is not going to be easy for you, bro. Not going to be easy at all. So what's some of the latest on the Elon Musk Twitter information? So the new Twitter CEO, this is also coming from the Morning Brew. He plans to cut about half of its workforce, and that's about 3,700 jobs on today, actually, in order to attempt to slash costs, according to Bloomberg. And the majority of the employees who will remain will be required to come back into the office, a reversal of the company's previous work from home anywhere policy. Musk could also start charging that $8 a month price for blue checks as soon as Monday. So it's essentially the only way people in the future are going to be able to be verified on Twitter. Now, granted, I don't know what this means for people who have been long time verified on Twitter, especially celebrities and large notable figures. I don't know if that means if they do not start paying that subscription plot. Wow, subscription price. What the hell is that word? Subscription price. I guess within a particular time frame. Does that mean they lose their verification? Like, what does that mean for them? That'll be very interesting to see. It says, keep in mind, as of today, which was yesterday on Thursday, Musk has owned Twitter for just 1 week, and all this stuff has already happened. So all I'm saying, this is not a super smooth transition. It's been very, very rough, not unlike, King Charles taking over after the death of the Queen. So anyway, let's hop into a couple of other articles I found that I thought were really, really interesting. And I think these kind of speak to some of the things that we find that we experience kind of daily, sometimes in the workplace. And these are some really good points that I thought would help us out. So this is coming from entrepreneur.com, and this was written by Taiwo Satakari. And I do apologize for butchering that name. And I will put the link for this article in the chat first before we hop too far into it, because for sure, I want you guys to be able to see as I see, which sounds a little weird now that I say it like that. So let's see here. Here we go. In the YouTube chat and momentarily in the Podbean chat. There we go. All right. So this article is labeled 10 simple productive activities you can do when you aren't motivated at work. Taiwo starts as an entrepreneur, your routine activities are often connected to building your business, monitoring business performance, and making more money. However, occasionally you may feel overwhelmed, tired, and unmotivated. Generally, one would advise something like visiting the park, getting some fresh air, or maybe something that can help your mind settle and make you want to work. However, what happens if those things However, what happens if those things work? My best advice would have been to use the time to rest, but the issue is that you should feel at peace while resting without battling productivity guilt. All right. So the first item he lists is listen to a productivity podcast. Listening to useful and impactful podcasts should be something you do on a normal basis as an entrepreneur. But the chances that such things will be on your priority to-do list are kind of slim. And that is why it comes in handy when you are unmotivated and don't know what task to work on next. Item number 2 is read books, articles, and magazines. Many hyper-successful entrepreneurs are readers. Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, even Zuckerberg finds time to read. Perhaps you haven't been able to create time from your busy schedule to read. A period of low motivation is often the best time to do so. Keep that in mind. Granted, at this point, Musk may not have been the best. Granted, Elon Musk is still very, very successful. But lately, he's not been looking too good for him. Number 3, tidy up your inbox. Go, dude. When I tell you right now, if you were to see the number of emails that I have in my personal Gmail that have not been addressed, and it's just really just that I've had this Gmail for years. And so even prior to college, I believe. And so going into it and like signing up for things that I thought would provide me information and updates that I cared for. Now tell me how many emails you have stuck in your inbox, but I currently, as far as unread emails are concerned, I have over 25,000 unread emails in my personal Gmail. It's embarrassing, and I will tell you that looking at all those numbers every single time I hop into my inbox is not cute. So Taiwo says, keeping up with the tons of emails you receive can be very overwhelming. There are newsletters, promotional content, subscription notifications, and inquiries from clients. Yet, there are emails you have starred to review later. Here's the time you finally give to the email to look. And perhaps you have assistants who manage your emails. You may have been giving those ones a little attention. There could be essential information your assistant does not consider important to share with you. So this would be a great time to check those out. Do it. Number 5, call business buddies, friends, and family. A simple check-in like this can help you have a simple, productive day. In addition, through the call, you may be able to pick up some business ideas and boost your business growth. Very important here. Number 5, connect with your coworkers. If there's one thing I hold in high esteem, it is to have a good working relationship with my employees. Your employees are smart people with different ideas and opinions that can help your business grow. Unfortunately, there is a high probability you have not had the time to have an intimate conversation due to the voluminous work you have at hand. Of course, the word intimate is in a very professional context here. Let's not go crazy. All right, time to tweet. Ooh, Elon Musk again. Here we go. Social media is a good place to blow your business trumpets. You can also connect with fellow entrepreneurs and see people's opinions under your company's tweets, LinkedIn messages, Facebook posts, etc. Despite how awesome these social apps are, they may never make your priority list. However, considering your productive state, you can use this time to create a Twitter trend, LinkedIn post, or other content. Number 7, read your business reviews and surveys. Depending on your business model, some people may have mentioned you or your business on a new blog or a public forum. It could be a review on Trustpilot, Yelp, Google Maps, Quora, or in any online community popular in your niche. So yeah, check these out. I'm going to leave the last three for you to discover. Again, the link for this article is in the chat. Go ahead and check it out. Another one that I saw a few days ago, this is from Sherry Baranek. This is also coming off of Entrepreneur. And it's called Solidarity Without Sameness, the Key to Working Together. A lot of times coming into a new environment, or even coming into an environment that's been there for a while, but never really had proper coordination, there's definitely going to be some level of dissonance that could cause you to not know how to work with your fellow employees, right? So diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, and environmental, social, and corporate governance, ESG, policies are more than just feeling good about ourselves. Diversity drives innovation, and companies that innovate in today's fast-paced environment are the ones that come out on top. Socially responsible companies are attracting more demanding consumers. But the more diversity we bring to a team, the more potential for crossed interests and differing opinions about what social responsibility implies, which can quickly escalate to conflict if it's not properly overseen and coordinated. So this is where building solidarity comes in. So everyone has differences, and the more diverse backgrounds, upbringings, and histories we bring in onto a team, the more opportunities for differences to exist, which is perfect sense. But from boards and management teams to organizing a charity fundraiser, embracing group diversity brings more perspectives, ideas, and alternatives that spur innovation and improve productivity. Diverse teams focus more on facts and process them more carefully, resulting in smarter decisions. Essentially, they're able to come in from different angles and put subjectiveness aside. This allows them to be objective ultimately, and that's where these better results come in. Building and encouraging team solidarity requires an established set of values around personal responsibility to contribute to the effort. Sincere acknowledgement and mutual support builds a culture of community, which can foster solidarity, but solidarity cannot be forced. Again, cannot be forced. And before I head in further into this, let me also again swing this into the chat for you guys enjoying the show live. Currently in the Podbean chat, and now it'll be in the YouTube chat. There you go. All right, it is a co-responsibility of the moral well-being for all others as equal partners on a common mission. Each person with their individual and collective interests needs to embrace solidarity around acknowledging and respecting our differences while arriving at decisions that best serve the collective we. Very important there. As much as you may want to be the person to spearhead a sense of collectiveness and oneness amongst a team of diverse people, they all have to put in that same amount of effort. Solidarity is a collective effort, not a singular or individual one. So you got to keep that in mind. So you got to see everyone's potential equally. So when this author became a grandmother, they developed a new perspective to understand inclusion in the face of diversity better. Look at people as babies. My 6-month-old grandson is slightly over 19 pounds, while my 15-month-old is approaching 20 pounds. The older one is small for his age, while the younger one is big. To look at them, they seem completely totally different, and yet I look at them as very much the same. They are both my grandchildren, both with the same potential for growth despite their differences. When we look at babies, whether grandchildren, children, or someone else's children, we so quickly look at them and see their potential. Each one is equally capable of becoming the next future star performer. If we can see potential in babies, why can't we still see it when they grow up to become adults? Very good question here. As leaders, seeing equal potential in everyone allows us to respect their differences, allows us to respect what their differences can bring to the team. As team members, seeing our peers full of potential will enable them to achieve their best for the benefit of the rest of the company. Look at someone and think about whose baby they were. Imagine someone caring for them, praying for them, and trying to open doors for them. Someone who saw them brimming with potential. Encourage others to imagine the same and help instill diverse teams with a greater sense of oneness and unity. Very big here. You know, I love the idea of, again, acknowledging the differences, but not seeing them for just the differences and seeing them as people who are, again, putting kind of subjectiveness aside, and seeing them still as people brimming with potential, and that potential to a degree not having been tapped yet. And a lot of times we find ourselves in positions where our potential just isn't tapped or doesn't get tapped. And that's one of the reasons why you find potentially great employees leaving jobs, because they're not in an environment that's going to call on them the way that they want to be called on. So check out the rest of that article. There was a lot more information there, definitely useful if you're trying to figure out how to coordinate a team of people who come from many different backgrounds and trying to unlock their collective potential to its best degree. Very, very useful there. So another big topic that's definitely been kind of the rage this past few weeks, especially on social media. TikTok is where my kind of home is, and that's quiet quitting. This comes from Alex Goryachev, also from entrepreneur.com, and the title is actually, "Who is to blame for quiet quitting? We are. Here's why and what to do about it." And by we, he means management. So let's dive into this. So you have probably heard of quiet quitting. If you haven't, it's simple. An employee continues to do their job. There's no actual quitting involved, but they disengage. They don't give 110%. They don't even give 100%. Their heart is no longer in their work, if it ever was, and so they don't sit up, they slouch. They do only what they must. What do we do then to address this? Clean house, fire the quiet quitters and strike fear in all who are left, install spyware on their work computers that monitors what they do. Many will offer that kind of advice. They'll give hard-nosed guidance for how to get the 110% from our people, which is both unreasonable and logically impossible. That path is a dead end, so says Goryachev. So where did quiet quitting come from? Word of quiet quitting was spread via social media, LinkedIn in particular, and much has been written about it since then. Many erroneously see remote and hybrid work as catalysts. Workers aren't saying hello at their coworkers' glamorous cubicles. They're not getting in the fresh visits from immediate supervisors and pats on the back from well-compensated executives. They're on longer leashes than before, and now this disaster, a quiet but rampant innovation killer, has struck. On that point, this author is skeptical. Time spent in the confines of the office does not equal greater productivity, creativity, or innovation. Let's admit it. Too much of traditional office time consists of long lunches, sharing company rumors, zoning out at a desk, and fretting over the next visit to the corner office. So why people really begin quiet quitting? Let's try talking with a random employee with our organization. Ask a few questions like, could you describe your company strategy? What are your company's current goals and KPIs, and how are you contributing towards them? When was the last time you were given an honest update on how the company is doing overall? If we get clear, accurate, unhesitating responses, then congratulations. We don't likely have an opaque culture that stimulates quiet quitting, and it's likely because we're among those who have taken the right steps to ensure our people are fully engaged, not only with their own duties, but with the company as a whole. Quiet quitting results from not doing what it takes to ensure employees can answer questions like those above. From the jump, quiet quitters are probably never truly engaged with the company or organizations they work for. They don't have a voice, don't feel essential, and don't know why what they do matters. They're acting in a way that seems right. All of us, managers and leaders, should look in the mirror and take stock of how we do things and see what wrinkles we can iron out. Let's find where we're losing the people we've hired and see what we can do to correct that. There are 5 things to consider. So before I hop into those 5 things, let's go ahead and make sure that you guys have access to this link here in the Podbean chat now, and it is now in the YouTube chat. There we go. First thing, start at the very beginning here. What does it look like when we bring new employees into the field? What are they told about their place in the organization? How aware are they not just of what's expected of them and how they can best perform their duties, but of the long-term or even short-term goals of the company as a whole? Very important here. If an employee comes in and they got no idea what their direction is, if they have no idea how what they're doing feeds into what is usually, hopefully, an intertwined set of departments and facets that feed into each other, then they're not going to have any idea how all the effort that they're expected to put in on a day-to-day basis actually feeds into the success of the business that they've been hired into. And knowing that they have that kind of position that feeds into that is a part of it, will help them out. I talk all the time about my first job coming out of college, which I've often referred to as a tree with no branches. And that's because over the years, I've learned to understand the importance of having a job that has its daily relation with, if not one, multiple other departments in a singular business, because knowing how I'm involved in that ultimate view of operations helps me as an employee, right? And so the department that I was in had no day-to-day interactions with any other department. No one from sales, programming, promotions, traffic, and continuity spoke to us. We had no idea what was going on. For the most part, all we can really see is that we're sitting at our desks talking about traffic. That's it. And a lot of us weren't even overseeing the traffic of the market we were in, which was Charlotte. Personally, as a traffic anchor myself, when I was full-time, I wasn't doing anything with Charlotte. I was overseeing primarily the Raleigh and Triangle market in the morning, and then in the afternoon, the same thing. But I on top of that, I added Richmond and I believe Norfolk, Virginia. Richmond for sure. But aside from that, we didn't speak to anybody. There was no obvious relationship that we had with other departments. And so I really didn't know what I was doing there. And on top of the fact that over the time I was there, I hadn't gained any new skills, and I had really never felt motivated and realized that it wasn't the position that I could be in that would even spark the opportunity to move into a department that would actually promise a career. That's ultimately why I left, because I could feel that there was just nothing here. It was a single tree stalk without branches. It had no way of allowing people to interact with other trees in the same forest, which might sound kind of like a weird analogy, but that's how I describe that job. There was no visual interconnection with anything else. And so that's why so many people left prior to my leaving, because it wasn't there. The ability to be aware of your role, the ability to interact with other roles, the ability to move on from the role wasn't there. So people left. A lot of people left. And that's before the pandemic. That's before the huge 30% layoff from the company that they did at the top of 2020. Like, it was crazy. Number two, things to consider to address quiet quitting. Put the big picture on display. What we do on a weekly, monthly, or quarterly basis to promote a real sense of psychological safety, openness, and belonging among our employees. Well, what do we do for this? How do we keep them informed about the company's long-term goals so they don't get lost in the bureaucracy and day-to-day tasks? If we have quiet quitters working for us, the answer to those questions is likely, geez, I don't know, nothing, or something similar. Or the things they've been doing are not quite enough, and it's time for a re-evaluation. And number three, there are two more. Number three, stop talking and start listening. Leaders don't have a monopoly on vision. We can learn a lot from the people we've hired. Surely that's part of why we've hired them in the first place. Perhaps it's time for genuine connection, where we listen rather than talk, and we see what they have to say rather than tell them what we think. Let's not ask, how happy are you with your job? Let's be real. No one who's unhappy at work is willing to risk losing a job by saying so to the boss. Instead, let's ask where an employee thinks the company is headed, ask for one thing they would change about the job, and see what we can do about the bureaucracy, dysfunction, and inefficiencies that our quiet quitters are surely noticing. Big things there. I'm going to let you check out that link so you can check out the other 2 points about how you can go about subverting quiet quitting in the workspace. I think it's pretty cool information there, to be very honest. So before we head into our submissions for this morning, just in case you're wondering how you can submit your own question, story, or office gossip to the show for discussion, there are 2 ways you can do that. You can head on over to Reddit. We have our own community called Talk Office Gossip. You can submit your story there. Additionally, you can head on over to casualbabble.com and you can submit your story on a page titled Submit Your Story. My admin on both platforms will let you know when your story is being chosen and submitted for the future episode of the podcast. And for some reason, if any submissions don't make it to the show, just due to time, typically, then it will be included in the next monthly newsletter from Casual Babble. And if you want to make sure that you are on the mailing list for that, then be sure to head on over to the homepage of casualbabble.com. There is a link right below the main picture called Sign Up and Keep Up. That's where you put your credentials in and make sure you receive that monthly newsletter. All right, so the first submission this morning is titled, Do You Prefer Working From Home or From the Office? I'm about to join a new company in a few weeks, but I have to work from the office every day. After 2 years of working remotely, I have anxiety to work at office. So, very understandable. It really depends on, I guess, what you're wanting to be able to do. Obviously, being at home allows us to be a bit more relaxed because we're in an environment that we constantly know, and it allows us to kind of enter a space with a more clear head, and that's, considering if we can get ourselves out of bed in time. And people, like we've discussed on the show from previous articles, people are thriving at home, and being in the office doesn't necessarily promise innovation from employees. So, it looks like you've signed on and you might be contracted here, but I would look into that and just kind of see what the options are. It sounds like you confirm with your employer if working in office every day is like a trial period thing where you just have to be there so that they can make sure that you're able to perform the responsibilities of the position. And then if after some period of time you can then go either hybrid or fully remote. Granted, this would have been a conversation probably early on in the interview process. I think most people will list on LinkedIn or Indeed, wherever they post their jobs, that it is going to be fully remote or hybrid or in office. Even if it's on their own personal website, I think people who even use like Workday or even Acru Partners or something like that will typically list on the job posting whether or not it's going to require in-office presence or if you're able to work remotely. So but definitely confirm, if that's just like a trial period thing or if it's like forever working from the office 5 days a week. But again, this would have been a conversation in the earlier parts of your interview process. So my question is, was that not able to be addressed earlier on? My only question, honestly. All right. So next submission, do you get used to the no? We've talked about the no's lots on the show. Again, it's a natural part of the trying to find a job process. Let's delve into this particular story. I've been a supervisor for a few months. In addition to supervising my crew, my office sets standards for several departments throughout the state. Not only am I new, my business supervisor is newer too. Our former supervisor was a great guy, but was too nice. His boss, who was also a great guy, wanted to always pay out for anything. As my new boss said, these days of us paying out for nothing are over. I spend my days drafting emails which are essentially a no. No, we won't honor our previous arrangement in this office made with you to do a third of your work and get paid 100%. No, we won't keep paying you for turning in incomplete forms. No, we won't agree to let your office do something no other office is approved to do. No, we are not obligated to do the thing for your office that we did before. That was a courtesy you took advantage of. You get the point. Between these emails, I'm having meetings where I'm discussing no's with upper management, my team, and other stakeholders. I'm finding it wearing on me. I'm always dealing with angry people. A good 80% of my job is this. I expected to deal with unhappy people. I just didn't expect it to be my whole day every day. Do you get used to this? Do you get Don't get me wrong, I've got no problem saying no. It's just that all I do is spend my days trying to write emails as politely as possible, then wait for the angry responses. Any tips on getting ahead of the fatigue from this? So, honestly, coming into it as a manager, you personally probably didn't have a hand in setting the weird standards that previous management did, which is what put them in a position to have to say no to so many things like this. So it's not your fault, right? You simply taking on the responsibilities, which come with the baggage of this weird set standard with the employees or the other departments beneath your particular office. And honestly, it's it's something that you will definitely have to feel out, and just remember that it's not, you didn't set up the system the way you came into it. You were literally learning the system as you enter it, and so you got to find a way to balance out the practicality of you having to simply take what you've been told and be the messenger, and your willingness and your desire to be emotionally open and being an emotional receptacle to the feelings of your employees, right? We got to balance out whether or not we're allowing ourselves to be too available sometimes, because coming from a position where I was overseeing client strategies and talking to lots of clients on a daily basis, I had to remember that as often as much as I wanted to be kind of that emotional and empathetic receptacle for my clients, at the same time I had to know where the line had to be, because I needed to be able to emotionally survive each day interacting with these people who likely would come at me with issues that aren't my fault, and that I might at times have to realize I can only have so many solutions for. And a lot of clients I had were transfers, so I didn't have the opportunity to build any initial rapport and be the one who onboarded them and welcomed them into the processes of my company. So I had to figure out where they were before and try to figure out a way to adjust to where I wanted them to go from there. And as much as again, I wanted to be an emotional receptacle for them and be available for them, not only physically so I could hear their concerns and then provide them solutions, but at the same time wanted to also be able to let them know I understand where they're coming from, and that I totally appreciate their concerns and why they might be upset about something, but there had to be a line, because I needed to remember that I need to not be so fatigued at this job that I find myself at a day where I'm just not able to operate, like I have a thrown off entropy and cannot find a way to function. So also consider the idea of just QTIP, which is essentially what I just said, but a lot quicker, which stands for quit taking it personal. Keeping both of those things in mind with the B. There's also another thing called BIF, the BIF method, which stands for brief, informative, friendly, and firm. And so take the BIF and the QTIP method of responses, and use those things to navigate emails, and that when they reply with you with a little bit of spice, you know what I'm saying? So don't take it personally, always be brief, friendly, but firm, and that'll help you balance out not only how you go about providing information to people, but also how to handle it when they inevitably come back to you with a little bit of a headbutt there. Next submission is labeled, is it bad to call in sick on my 6th week at a new job? I've only been working here for 6 weeks, only 3 days a week because of school, and I had to call in sick today. I rescheduled the hours I missed to make them up on Sunday, but I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Am I? Well, if you're sick, then no, because you don't want to be coming into a workplace and spreading whatever you have, right? So it's just you being responsible ultimately. I've had a couple times when I was early on in working in college, I was in food services, and there was one day where I just did not feel good. I didn't know if I was nauseous. I didn't know if I was experiencing vertigo or something like that. But I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna chance it. I need the money. I definitely need the money, but I also know that I don't need to be the one who goes into my workspace and gets everybody else sick. So I'm just gonna go stay in and not work today. It's a responsible thing to do. If you're feeling sick, then you stay home. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Will your manager maybe get a little flustered that they have to find a way to kind of redelegate the responsibilities? Sure, but at the same time, you're doing what you should do as a responsible employee, which is not going to work anyway, and again, get other people sick. You're good to go. All right, so the next submission is labeled being asked to come into work on my days off. Don't miss it. All right, so I'm a bartender at a small family-owned bar. I took the job simply because I can work 4 days a week and no more than that. The other days of the week, I take care of my grandkids. They're 15 months and 1.5 months old. For my daughter, who is a single mom working 7 days a week just to make ends meet. I'm also in school. They are making demands that I come in for a deep clean on a Monday once a month, which I cannot physically do, being that I am watching my grandkids. Also, that I come in once a month on my day off to clean bar mats. I continue to explain to them that we don't know anything else in this entire state than that we don't know anyone else in the state who can watch the kids, but they keep saying that they're giving me enough time to figure it out. What can I do? We literally don't know anyone to help with the grandkids at all. Help. Is it possible to find any kind of babysitter to assist you? Is there any kind of network for people who are looking to take on babysitting duties for just kind of small money on the side? They can come in when you're apparently supposed to be coming in to do these deep cleans or these maintenance services. And ultimately, can they really fire you? Really have a talk with them. Be like, look, you and I had this conversation bringing me into this position that I can only work so many days a week because I am going to be watching my grandkids. So why suddenly do you want to go against that agreement and ask for me to come in extra days when I, at the moment, have no system to take care of these kids? Why is this happening now? Have the conversation with them again. See if there is a way for you to, if you have to, find some kind of network of local trusted people who can oversee the kids on these days where you weren't supposed to be going into work. Next submission is labeled, how long do I need to stay at my first full-time job? I've been working at my current company for about 6 months. This is my first job after college, and I hate it. It's nothing like what I thought it was going to be, and the company itself has so many outdated practices and rules. I am not happy here, but they are very happy with my performance, and I like my manager, so I feel guilty about potentially leaving. But I found another job that I'm hoping to apply for, and I have connections within the new company. I'm not sure what to do. Is 6 months too short? Am I screwing them over? So a couple thoughts on that. We don't like being in spots where we don't think we're going to be able to develop or grow ourselves professionally or individually. And that does happen a lot of times, especially coming out of college, because you are still so green most of the time. And these days, what position isn't asking for 5+ years of experience with this or 10+ years of experience with that, right? So a lot of times we do have to take what we can get. Honestly, most people would argue that only having 6 months at a job could be a little bit of a red flag for a prospective employer, just because it may suggest that you don't know how to maintain a consistency or reliability. But this being your first job may not be the case. I would definitely try to avoid building up a repetition of this. So if you're going for this new position, I would 100% say, so I would definitely say make sure moving into the space, if you're gonna move forward with applying for this new job, make sure it's where you want to be. Because even if you may not be kind of red flagged as potentially inconsistent from this first job, only being there 6 months, next move you want to make, you're gonna want to feel comfortable in being there for a while, just because you want to be able to show that you do have a consistency. Like ideally being at the new job for a couple of years or so. So I would consider that first. And you can always ask about the environment, whenever you're interviewing for a new job. Ask about the day-to-day, ask about the how often people are meeting as teams, how often are employees interacting with their management, what does that look like? Try to get as much of a gauge as you can about the environment so that you're not leaving the frying pan for the fire, right? But yeah, look into those things, consider those ideas first. And I think, if you haven't spoken with this new company yet and they see that you've been at your first job for only 6 months, they will likely inquire about it. So make sure you do have a creative response going into this interview. Like for instance, so I was with a company out of Charlotte, and I was only there for, let's see, I want to say 8 months or so. And I was then looking for a new job. And so people that I spoke with did ask me, okay, so you've only been here for a little while. Do you have a reason as to why you're wanting to leave? And so the reality was, and I told them this, I love my team, great people, and there's a really good chemistry there, but the development opportunities at this company are not what I was hoping they were. There's just not a chance here for growth, and I do want to be able to move up a ladder as I'm with a company. And the company that I was looking and talking with at the time, who asked me the question, were very receptive to that. Because they're looking to bring people in who want to evolve, and they have opportunities for those people to develop. So just be mindful of those things. Consider how you're going to answer that question. If you get asked, you've only been here for 6 months, why do you want to leave already? Things like that. And we've got time for one more submission this morning. Let's see here. And this submission is labeled, "My boss hasn't responded when I messaged about being sick. What should I do? My shift starts in 15 minutes and I've been throwing up on and off since 4 a.m. this morning. I don't want to leave them because it was supposed to be a day they showed me how to do something, but every time I sit up, I have to lay back down." So let's see here. If you left a message, for the most part, you've done everything you can do. I'm the kind of person who will kind of go above and beyond, and I will just keep calling somebody. I'll not just message, I will call somebody just so I can provide them as much of a real-time response and get a real-time response from them as possible. Because I as much as I also sometimes feel guilt when I feel sick and I gotta call out of work. But again, calling out of work because you're sick is responsible, so that's fine. Don't feel guilty too much over that. But if you do, I understand. But I will be like, I need to talk to somebody because I need to know that people are actually aware that I'm not going to be able to make it in. I'm a little concerned that you sent me this when you were 15 minutes away from your shift starting. Hopefully you've been messaging people since 4 a.m. so that helps you out. But yeah, I would definitely just call somebody and be like, look, I cannot come in. please make sure management is aware so that you guys can like delegate what I would otherwise be doing this morning if I was able to come into work. Super simple. All right, so thank you so much for joining me this morning on Casual Babble. I really appreciate speaking with you guys. Again, if you haven't yet, give us a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're enjoying on YouTube. And if you're on Podbean, you'll go ahead and give us a follow there, and we will talk to you guys.